Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ashiraf Dance Academy. Kandi rizoba enyino mugenyi omu studio nakuba natushobora ebintu bingi ebikwatagine nakushara size ninga ekibakweta to lose weight omu rujungu. Nakuba natugambira no basa kuriya ki no basa kora ki no basa kora ki ebintu bingi nanishaba oyetebekanise byona nakuba nabitushobora engeri ibikutwaza mu iwano ndakushara size wano ndaku ebyo kuriye byoshemewe kuba noria byona nakuba nabitugambira onkana nishaba abanze yatwe yanjura na atugambire na package yayine then tugende omisho twakwakira sewa
webale mnonga Ashiraf kandi na barukutureba tushemerwa mnonga of course kuguma tubaretera emera mwankeji irukutuyamba kurebera amagara gitu no kubaje kandi kokuya introducing ninga kokuya yanja yomurama gwitu gwerizoba no kulosing no kumanya engeri twakubasa kushara weight okumweno zangu mwirwaro ningoba orinka home gym no ningo gwanka ka machine yo kwepima oyepima muka ubwa kirozi bakugira kandi okabwaza higuru mnonga ohurira wahaharu mutuma right now tubasa kuganira ho kace ahabwenki I mean ebintu ebimwe twakubasa kukora kulosing ejo weight but at the same time ahabwenki abantu nkibagumira kushanga ngu kandi niba maintaining ezo programs ezibakwa batandikire kulosing the weight. Amazina ganje ni Brian, I'm the physiotherapist kandi nkora Haro Mission Hospital. I'm trained more in physio but as well as prescribing exercises nokumanya which exercise is appropriate for which kind of person kandi nanokuza kubasa kukwera amagara gitu bitu checho chonka harimo ibintu bingi mnonga oyireho umurama gwite izoba nukubasa kwetorora icyo kintu cha exercise and maybe diet.
Ninjama mpuro mshija ine bintu bingi byabinira ine package nyingi kandi expert muri icyo cyaro nakutora nakutushobora. So Mr. Brian na nyenda tutandike umurama gwerizoba abantu takaba shishuro wire. So na nyenda kubuza kina kubande beginner konka nyine weight yanje ndukura weight endemerire nompa buhabuzi kininga nompa advice kikushanga ngo nagenda step by step na ruzinga weight kutaka iko kubukire kintu kandi ukashanga cyankora kubi na nyendo tushobore ninje na step by step as a beginner making sure ngo na ruzinga weight.
Webale mnonga again when Ashiraf. So obwiro bwingi nitugamba hari age weight loss and abamwe takumanya obundi nshemeye kuba ndi luzinga weight ninga tishemeye kuba ndi luzinga konka kugira ngo nico kintu cyoroho so buri umwe nayenda kushara weight but the most important thing no kumanya ngo all beginner just think of tandike kintu ekindi so ngokwa kubanozo mwishomero mukinda garden kushoma no baza bakwanditsa za patana ninga shomwe just ojurge kitabo utakatanje kuhandika there is that light stage you're kutandikira. So again for all people nimbagambira angu the most important thing no kutandika it is better to start slow kutandika mpora especially nkawano tandika exercises because koko beginner change manyisango mazirakire karingwa mnonga otakora orengo rwa exercise rwo kuza kutandika ninga shoro kwetagiswa even kushanga ngo norukuhereza maximum results hazombere nagogonka gwine ku adjusting hariye jo stress yo kuba no guteka habo kuba yo exercise yo kubanza ngo ezo exercises zo kubanza ngo receiving anga stress kugira ngo ece cyaburisho so ko guhereza stress impango nagogonka responding ngo munjere ndijo and then oshanga ngo okugumiza munokora exercises ezo cyakuteganisa. So firstly no kumanya ngo ninyenda ku losing weight niyo jane inatandika that is the goal. So remember the goal, always remember the goal. So kokumanya nyenda kushara weight then we are choosing an exercise. Choosing an exercise noza kugira ngo nyenda gukora exercise but noza gukora exercise for starters niza kugira ngo ikintu cyo enjoyinga n'ikirungi munonga so kwa no enjoyinga kuzaruguto kirukanga nikirungi kora no enjoying kutambura firstly for the start nikirungi kora no enjoying kuzina dancing then no basa kugikora quite more and more ekyo nakyo nikirungi munonga even abantu abamwe abo kushanga ngu they do a lot of house chores ntubagira ngu okay korezo munonga and then maybe koresa munonga nkaza stairs abine stairs omuka amajugabo koresa munonga ezo stairs so kugira ngu you first become more active but at least if you can walk ninga wano basa kucyclinga abakuvuga obugari no basa kashanga omujimu ninga no basa kuwina ka just akokwevugira ninga wano basa kukora some dance ebintu kunda kuba turiyo vibe yes so dance ninga shoguru komuguha ebintu nkebyo kandi biri very accessible to us byangu kutunga byangu kwesyaho oyire hoine kumanya goal yanje neji kandi ngitunga ndideno kachitekaho mutima and then you start a bit slow tichirikwetagisa kugira ngo warabe wa enjoying a sport so tere birizo omurungi okubanza no so but all in all however light the activity is oine kurangu niwo wenka oine level yoriyo nokora ki nokora so takaza albuto bakajangu bagize ngo ntandike pora and then okatambura pace yabo usually because echor kwetaga tikugende otwire nacho kandi orukozejo pace nchimanyisa nchetaga a certain pace so you no way ne kuteka muka intense ko kurangwaka nka challenging but not to the extent eyokora ki eyokunkiking out kushanga ngo tinchi basa kugira nko kunayekora so mostly intensity inakubire ni pabura abantu at this stage kugira ngo ndari natandika kuzina I can dance for consistently for about 30 minutes kugumiza mu at least dakika 30 kuzina but then at this pace nukwe nimpura the breathing is faster ninga shi a little bit difficult but I can still say one or two words so I'm not so much struggling at that stage at least for about the first 2 weeks 4 weeks kujirangu you get to adapt to allow the body adapting to that activity so nagambira kumanya goal nagambira kumanya choosing intervention which is exercise nagambira ahaku tandika mpora so hati kokutandika watch kora today utakaza weighing scale kaza kwetu matkwe chikore at least so nagambira bwiro bosheme kuba no maro kuchikora at least 30 minutes ninga 1 hour edachika nkago kuchikora and then emirundenga hyo mu week na hatinche chituho at least 3 to 5 times in a week kokubotandikire of course kunda ibenaze na mwerizo bakahurire biro byanje byashasha tomorrow nibasa kuchereza mu break ninga nkore some few exercises zo stretching and kachikwe relaxing and then the next day I do nyoshe mweri akorata then I do the next time kujamba at least for beginners not and never shatu but at least you should aim for about 5 days per week and then so week kwera we so what be consistent so for example nkaza university national for about 4 years konkani imagining could drop injury out on P4 then I would not achieve this side so the consistency all through the affecting every part of life and so it affects weight loss so be consistent and then as you become consistent then we go into progression of progressing so Ashiraf na nabanda abakutureba weight yo neijeta wenche tujara weight nyinje munonga nchinchi manisangu so twata bim balance kuntwine echiturukherezo omubiri kuntwine omubiri echiguru kushoboza burning in form of energy so noza kushanga ngo echiturukherezo omubiri I mean echiturukherezo omubiri chirichango haza chi outweighing echiturukushoboza so aha twineho omubiri ntuguhereza calories kwe nchakura nibagira ngo burn calories burn fuel omubiri tuguhereza calories tuguhereza fuel kandi kuntwine kuzibaninga. Now kokureba the nature of home settings za Uganda, you have konkuzo mu hotel nazo mu hotel, of course mu hotel tinkurya bihimba ninyende nyama. Enyama firstly it's protein but it also has fat. At the same time enyama yanje jo buntu kwenda kugirya ninyenda kunurwa everything, so niza kushaba mere yonna so nashaba mere yonna banderaho posho, matoke, rice, even kalo, batekaho sweet potato,
akashagwe bakaletera rwaju,
abatekaho na nakashagwe which is again more fat.
Otugreens wabaja batuyo,
so otugreens no bakwa batatuyireho omu hotel nibatereza kajika kamwe ka greens, but area mere yonna nogireba it is all carbohydrate. Yona carbohydrate, nor sugar, and yet even the sauce is fat. So India, but I am a worker, maybe in Nkorom office in Kaha Bank of Uganda, Ningashi, National Water, and then I go to my desk, you know, a lot of work, kugashahi biri. And then these reports nibazenda baishaha munana kuonka hine activity yinyine kuba namalirize baishahi 11, but then hine emails zinyine kusindika bakasitunga baishahi 2. So ndio Nkorom office shahi 11 kuonka nyine kutaha at the same time nkahandika emails nkasindika tinyine kire kanje konkishka na yamere yonna azo nkashesha nabanyuire amateganje ningo ushera bwanje still sugar, still what ndire hechindazi ninge chapati, which is more and more carbohydrate, more fat. Obunaheza kusindika emails obundi media yatechere again mere yonna. So omwizoba nasiba nshtami kokusibo shtami of course nugubana okukora gwine aguru kubaninga konkorio no overpowering with a lot of fuel. So what it does, excess glucose in storing konka at the same time nugubasa kujiconverting at the same time to fat, kugatke storing as fat or just excess glucose. So now what and exercising or you know just a whole korachi create a balance. But before you outweigh this whole thing, you're doing this light, even extensive exercise. Neza kuburning some energy, but as it is burning, you're still eating. You're still eating, giving the body more fuel, which means weight loss can be a journey. Achieving this balance and then exceeding how much fuel you're burning than what you're taking in. So that's why sometimes in wakujirangu you can fast kujirangu, reducing how much fuel you're noria, then kujirangu at least through your daily activities ojire echwa burning konkota hirembe chokunanga gubase kwesa chile chikutuire nugustoringa, and then otandike kugaining that balance. So the whole journey neyokurebangu no balancing, and then you outweigh the fuel. And in outweighing the fuel chikumanyisangu takarira okuchumweka nakache, you still need to eat, but at the same time okomisho tuzakureba that you need to also work on the diet, and then you increase more on the physical activity. So that is what we are trying to get, and that is why nankani consistency is important. Kujam every day hinechor kuonjeraho. So kutukuruga consistency to za progression oyine progressing akora watandika no tambra no zinamu no korachi oyine kuonjeraho that intensity, or maybe kora watandika neda chika 20 we need to add on to 30 to 60. So kumantuonjeraho, and then we incorporate adapting, so we increase that. So for most people they baza kukora exercise intensity mwe bashareho kilos nkishatu, and then ba maintaining ezo, because they have remained consistent on the resetting at a new level, remember they are still eating.
Yes, yeah.
So be resetting at a new level, but then kuba hikaho barimo progressing bayongeraho intensity kugira ngo now they can burn even more fuel, yet the body has adapted to the new stage. So consistency, progression is always important. Kandi progression at the same time nebasa kumgeria frequency inagambira kugira ngo ebiro bishatu mu wiki hatwayongeraho byaba bingahe byaba bitano. So something like that kugira ngo nturgaha tuzaha and then echo kitwa choosing akora tuchikora consistently. If you are a beginner, get the right mindset. Okay. These things are possible. And actually for beginners, let me tell you, you have two choices to make. To start or not to start. But if you do not start, you're still going to live the next day with the same weight. And the next day with the same weight, and the next day with the same weight. And you're adding. But if you start, you will live the next day. At least, if you have not lost, then you prevent that weight from increasing. So, weight loss, weight management, actually, njera weight management. Akakutugamba weight loss to on only one side, can losing. But what you do not see is that kunda bendiari maybe kilos in kachinana. Hariho big potential yanje yo kugira ngo mpise kilos 9. So kunda abe nagumara kilo 8. Kunda abe naza hari 8 n'ibiri even. Tunayongera hibiri. Hariho big potential ngo omuri yezi ibiri zinayongeraho while I am exercising and maybe dieting. Hariho big potential kugira ngo nawe zikabe ziri 9. But the interventions ezimbere ninkora zi maintaining iraho because by the time you say hati mpichize kilo 8 okahura chakanga chichimaniso origire nkari nkaga wayongeraho nka 20. So throughout that whole time otwire no yongeraho maybe tichizire in one day konka chichire chakanga in one day, which means on your journey of losing weight, if you start, you're consistent, na noriyo muntu wetu ajya mutaku progressing hine cha maintaining at least tagaka yo munonga hine cha maintaining ahari ejo intensity ya data progressing. So it means even though you continue doing that, hariho change cyo yo no tangira gukora ki kubaho ninga kushanga wa gaining as a person. Yeah.
Okay. So ninja mwachura nka beginner wano ndafutandika byone yabishobora na nebyo shemeye kuba engeri shemeye kuba noriya motakashanga minzani yawe gwerire side mwa mere reka futekaho mere yona ye balance ingeri kitari yecho kandi na nekinde kinayeganywe nkanye ngo muntu oyine futandike rizoba toyine kulinda ngumanya kantandike nchakare oyine futandike rizoba tandike shaha yona uko waza kulinda toratandike so ine futandike rizoba ine futandika ejesha heja itugambira chera kasheshe yiruka buko mugajire cyo wakora making sure ngo on the scale church from 1 to 10 at least wakoraho 1 elizo nchaka no koraho 2 ogumeno improving ampora then hati ya hare chindi ekintu cha diet abantu nibagenda yana losing weight omoshanga chamuteganisa munonga na nienda obashobore ni merechi ninga nibyo kunywa ki ebyashemeye kuba nariya ninga ebyashemeye kuba nanyo byo kunywa na nebyo kurya ebyashemeye kuba nariya kumekinga sure ngo yana working out kandi ataka rugo mu gym ninga ahantu hona road work ukashanga yashitama bucket cyo bushera yashitama mere tujiro mutweti muno bamujariye gurinizi ukashanga ine bucket cya gurinizi muno bamujangwanye cyo kashanga ine so na nyendo bashobore step by step na cyecho bacenge bareke gukora kuchkwata mu ngeri kale tari emere yashemeye kurya na nebyo kunywa bashemeye kunywa.
So Ashraf, ebintu bya weight gain and weight loss be very funny and mostly they are just on the surface. Umuntu aho kumujera ngundi chakareta a whole bucket of the greens in waji mugambera. What is driving this person teri nankani what is driving this person on top of wanting to lose weight harm anxiety. So firstly, even nanawano garka enyuma for exercise, to managing that anxiety, wanting a quick fix, because you're not going to quickly fix it. You have lived probably for 40 years, and you have built that life for over 40 years. Maybe you have made certain choices, but nazozo nkanoza kushanga they have been there for like about 5 years. So for example, kajarangu nyokuna arijira campus nkatungo murumo natandika kwerira je natandika kwerira je naenda kanyamani nkaliya naenda. Yes, so noza kushanga ngu there is where it started, but ahojire kuchidiscover njirangu chiliyonchi kuletera obuzibu ningashi chaba chatandika getting out of hand hariho ejo space there ya 2 weeks nkoko kwenda kuluzinga weight in 2 weeks. I just want you to look back omanyengu what has made you reach that stage has not happened in 2 weeks. And so kokwanach planning again focusing as a long-term goal, but then short-term okagumano taking those small steps. It can be exercise, it can be in diet. So again, nashobora habantu firstly on the issue yokugirangu hariho fuel or calorie intake na calorie expenditure. Calorie intake is so much dictated by what you're taking in eky'okurya. Now ishka twagamba hari mere yonna twagitaho soda, not so. So noza kushanga in a very small time ebintu ebiwarya nibingi munonga. But even after that, dessert. Have you seen dessert ya nankani? Dessert ya nka fruit inkomiyembe. Ninga most of the desserts na mnonga twatirinka on conferences, our kuchakuza on conferences, ninga shi parties, noza kushanga dessert cake. Cake. Yes, it is cake. So you have finished taking many yona one your soda, wateka your sugary cake. It is crazy, I must say. So the very first thing ekyokubasa kukora nkomuntu akundeba no managing how much calories you're taking in. We do exercise, we want the calories omubiri ngwetaaga kugira ngu gube gwina amaani. But if you're managing weight, probably you have a lot more that is stored for you. A lot more that is stored for you. So now you do not want to kuonjera more calorie, and yet you're fighting to take out the calories. So it is good to have a portion ya nankani ya carbohydrates. Carbohydrates twinemu ebyokurya byinemu shukari, twinemu omuceeri, twinemu akaro, twinemu da posho, twinemu ebitakuri, twinemu muhogo. So you have maybe a portion of rice, a portion of posho that is there, and then noyetaga more of the protein, because as you work the protein neza kuba nekuyamba kugira ngu ne building ezo proteins ziyamba with building muscles and what ezo kuba noyetaga so to replace the fat, but at the same time is regulating nankani appetite. So noza kushanga you do not have that much appetite kugira ngu in a short time noyetaga garka kugira chuwateka, you may be like inkobwa snacks nachi. So for me, if I can ahogira ngu kuzo mu hotel ntubasa kudictating ngu nyonjera hebihimba, then probably I would do that kugira ngu nyonjera those calories, and then the fibers, the greens, nazo zonka. So as opposed to that one kajiko, you can have at least quarter of your plates with that, and then after that you need to be hydrating kujirangu in some way you're doing what you're giving the body less calories, but again in other food stuffs ebyekwetaaga. Now nobaasa kuba oli okora kugira ngu eza fibers ninga za vegetables tinkusikunda, but this again is yamba kugira ngu zuhwere how your stomach is working ninga your digestive system okwera okukora. But at the same time noshanga twine ebizibu ebindi. By the time you have gained weight through poor dieting probably, or maybe just sedentary lifestyle, okukora exercises, there are certain other things that happen, maybe so, and noreba hatinka being overweight itself or even the lack of exercise ningash both ningash ebyo bibiri ogisireho na poor dieting, they are all risk factors okugira ngu omuntu nabaasa kugira ebirware byarwara, including cancers. Now these fibers can help you managing the gut, reducing constipation, but also preventing gut colon cancer ebintu nkebyo. So at least I'd rather have weight without that colon cancer, without things like constipation, which is again, so keep it simple kugira ngu my diet otakareba like nkoba chwerire chwero bakagira ngu for you ntuza kuteka akaraba you noza kuza for 6 for a sentence of what of 6 months like kugira ngu iroko ryebi. And it is worse when okutegereza ngu bakigambira mu irwaro nibaza kugira ngu otagarikira kukirya, and the moment bakugira ngu otagarikira kukirya psychologically noza kukura nicho kwetaaga. Generally nk'abantu I think maybe turi nk'abahenzi b'amateka or kwenda biragiro nk'ebyo, but the moment bakugira ngu otagarikira kukirya noza kukura nicho kwenda no. Yes. So start it as a habit kugira ngu that dessert wagitaho fruit, maybe instead of taking taking that sugary cake, maybe instead wagitaho fruit. But even back in our workplaces hariho okushanga omuntu asherekera ka bucket ka daddies ngo mu drawer, so every time naihayo nadyaho obanda byao ningashi. So those snacks, so you replace them with, maybe I packed some fruits or your fruits. That's good practice. You're taking in vitamins as opposed to extra calories. Ngunyine yo biscuit yanjo, when you read on the specifications za energy za nutrients zo kwisha kuihomba yejo nanka ni biscuit, most of the times noza kushanga ngu calories ezero ziri even about like 900 plus or 500 plus
konko muntu ayemera kujangwe izana sibira biscuit
so sometimes no itaga kujangu okay, I still need to eat, niza managing how much carbohydrate I'm taking in, kan nacho tichwero. So ninyenda hokache, and then I take some fruits and greens, and then I take some water. Full stop. Just keep it simple. The moment you keep it simple, one day will pass, the next day will pass, the other day will pass, the following day will pass. But the other thing is kujirangu nkokutwagamba exercise, slow down impora. What actually hygiene still dieting might fail, because there is something you're used to taking, the body is used to receiving. So you may want to reduce
small portions.
Those portions. Ntaka kugira ngo take carbohydrate kache, but then I'm going to still be feeling so hungry. And the moment I'm still feeling so hungry, niza kwetaga kushanga munindi bwa snacks range to fill up, because I think maybe bonuche ninga konis kayo akantu kamwenkaria, so it does not feel like so significant, but cumulatively noza kushanga this is actually a blunder that we have made. Kokutwagamba, keep it simple, and then just know ninyetagaho ebya carbohydrates biche, maybe from time to time noza still kwetaga a meal with some fats, which is okay. You can regulate how much fat is in there, maybe how much even cooking oil am I using to fry this, but also reducing those processed foods. Processed foods is building a lot of calories very quickly, and so you want to reduce those ones. Okashanga noria whole foods. Whole foods ni manyisangu, instead of like a chapati, maybe at least nalianka gonji. Instead of kushanga, so ebyokulya very natural, they are fresh, they are natural, nibyo bindi yo ni India oba nabiteka oba nakolaki, but at least they are the ones nibyo bindi yo ni India. So ekyo change kuhereza a lot, and maybe some nuts zine good fats. The fats is nunja hamubiri, is grains and what and nuts. So those ones you can take, and maybe things like fish oil, bichinkebyo nibiyamba omubiri, even with our joints no yako kuba watanche ku developing a lot of weight, then the stress negarka umurchi on joints zawo. So both exercise, both and diet, you need to do with what without a lot of anxiety, and make those small steps ahead. Give yourself a goal. Maybe I'm going to start by adding greens to my meal, and tick. This week I have done it. Then I'm going to add a fruit and replace it maybe with a processed kind of thing that I've been addicted to. And then you tick, I'm going to replace that soda with some water. Tick it, and then now I'm beginning to chop, because now I'm chopping off. Maybe kunda alyo mcheri tinda yonjero chitakuli ninga shina nakahunga niza kuyo mcheri na nechitoche, and then you do that so consistently like that, from time to time. No shangango chintu echo nokola chi no managing.
Okay, so Brian, ine chintu echibuza bate chibakubuza, how is hydration ningo okunywa mizi very important in losing weight? Ninga shi omuntu nabasa kunywa amizi gakwingana ki orunaku yerereta ashemera kuba najinywa orunaku rwona ninga ashemera kuba najinywa omurungi gumwe. Kale, how is hydration important in losing weight?
Yes, so firstly turiyo tugamba ha burning fuel. Narya kache na narya ho calories inche, nateka ho fruits, nateka ho fiber, nateka ho chi kunna kora exercise tukwe. I am burning fuel. This fuel ndio ni burning aneyetaga a controlled environment. Ate chichiri internal omubiri kugira ngu cells zawe hina izurukora. Obundi yo ni nkora exercise ejo ni burning a fuel. Kuno ndio ni intutu kani nkora chi. So ndio ni losing mizi, both whatever abantu abakanba exercising and abantu barga hechoya na nomukano obundi yagamba na harga mu hechoya. So I'm losing a lot of water in form of hechoya ninga shina neje tutu. So nchichi manyisango environment yanje cells zine kubanza kora mu kuburning ejo fuel eito agamba neyetaga amizago, and so taking that water is important kugira ngo neyamba eshagama engeri yeri kutamburamu omubiri kudistributing those energy sources eziturukwenda kubaninga, at the same time distributing ebyo biri kutuyamba, because when you do exercise no itaga kuombeka amagufa ago gakaba stronger, kuombeka enyama ezo zikaba stronger. No, your exercise yo yonka neberinka stress, neberinka stress ambi, so ombiri gwine kujo repairing, and that's how you get to adapt through those repairing mechanisms. Ebyona nukurwa eshagama yane tambiraje kandi eshagama nene itaga kube ine volume nungi orukunywa agamizi. So agamizi ngayamba overall working of the body. Otherwise okabe no kwa exercise today, tomorrow you're dehydrated. Exercise yo yonkane ekurema wonkana nombe no huragu so stiff, guri so stiff, so tight, yes, or kurama garamwen gatargu. So hydration is is good, whether you're doing exercise, whether you're not doing exercise, whether you're overweight, whether you're not overweight, and at the same time neyamba protecting achi ensigo zawe. This water that we take in neyamba kukola chi protecting ensigo zawe. So it is a good thing to add to your weight loss program, because there is a lot of metabolism, a lot of reactions to do to be able to adapt, and so but at least every day you can aim at 2 liters. 2 liters of water. Echo nechupa chawe nzoli obundo yonjera konka ka disposable kandi ninga shinke chikope chindi, which is manageable. And as you take this water, but abatakahura ngubakujanga 2 liters, and then you take all at once, and you will still remain the same way. So it is better gumano taking our small sips. Hate chenche twagamba akali muntu kugira ngo nabasa kushanga all the time naenda kulia. So when you have this water that you take per like after a few minutes, like after 5 minutes, after 10 minutes, no shangang the urge to want to eat, you are beating. So you take your water slowly, but by the end of the day, no shangang, okay, I have taken really a good amount of water. So ninyenda kubaranninga kukache again to the issue of dieting, so that you understand where people gain weight from when it comes to this eating thing. So when it gets to in a whole about 4 types of people who are overweight, twinemu hina abine brain hunger kugira ngwe na teka hameri. So it may not be bushaha. So these people nabasa kumalizo baliona batarire, and they are perfectly fine. So akujire nyona fasting. But when they reach a point yok choosing echokulya, they will get a whole lot of things. Buri chimwechi obwongo burukuteka burukwenda feeling interested in, they will get it and they will eat it and finish it, and then they will still run again to buy. Secondly, to inhoba emotional eaters, kuba happy, to yahambaga to the out to the barrier. Kwa kutunga heartbreak. Kwa kutunga heartbreak charo. Maybe are emotional, either they have lost someone, ningashi they have lost a job, ningashi no muta yaba jeregamurmo, ningashi it is your partner ya kunyiza. They will eat during that moment. So those are the emotional eaters. Then to in a whole about gut hunger. So those ones, normal meals bahura bar full, kuongana baraka kujirenjara. So in between, they cannot stop snacking, taking those snacks and what. And then to in a whole again abanda bine, just generally ninka slow burn. So for them they burn slowly their calories. It is more of like a body kind of thing. So konka look at those 3 stages namnonga. Is this brain hunger. So I've been a hungry brain. People with hungry brains, you may want again to see that you regulate yourself through when the time comes. Ningashi, even though you're not feeling that hungry, you may need to keep yourself, maybe you have a fruit, or you have some kind of protein meal that you eat, kujirango reducing even the urge to eat more when time comes. Secondly, and at the same time, yes, continue the exercise, because exercise burns a lot of calories, and it is one way that you can spend out the energy that is stored within the body. I mean, about the emotional eaters, again, it is again to understand my level. Kujirango nyo kuza out ninga shitwaza nkai. nabasigire nyama henu zitoyona ninye ndukugitereza akajimaraho abandi nababakirigire. So you may need also to regulate okamanya okay now this level inahika I've taken much, maybe you take a good drink, it could be juice, it could be water, and then when you're sad, you can find other ways to replace the urge to eat with what? In your anger management, maybe watunga friend inko kuwaganira nawe, maybe we're taking walks outside, people go to those parks ninga I think Omuri twine bwa golf course no shanga yo mutari yatambura na meditating twine bishayo mu twine other areas where you can go and actually clear your mind out. You can as well go for swimming. It is a physical activity but also a bit enjoyable. It can help you clear. So instead of channeling all of that to food, or even when you're choosing the food to eat, then you may still need to keep it a bit balanced.
Hatiya twine shonga iba kwete yo kubyama. Abantu binji nana yebuza konka shini muni nkora exercises kandi ko kubyama ni byamasha haskwingana ki ni byamahwire kwingana ki nyine kubyama unakurona ninge kiro cyona ati na nyendo bashobore ayine ko nabyamiro mu range 8 eshanga zinga hecuro kugira ngo afune good sleep then agumize munane byashime ko nakora.
So very important, Ashiraf, okubyama. So could it very important means how much time? At least 7 to 9 hours.
7 to 9 hours.
Konke 7 to 9 hours utazibyama mbits. Utakabyama heshahibiro mu ihangwe then omwazyo echiro kabyama hitano ukagira ngo nabyamesha hamushanju. The best sleep ni tujeta nocturnal sleep ninga sho kubyama kwechiro and it should be okubyama okokwechiro. So when you start ukazimara yo eshaha zawe so sometimes no butakwetaga na interruptions in between kugira ngo ubunda nimuka kushesha nimuka gukora ki. For some people no shangangu, at least if they've been taking water intake here over reducing at around maybe like 5 p.m. Tubanywa na za chai zechuro so that at least tubakwisha kwetaga kushangangu nibimuka frequently gukora ki kuza kushesha hagati yechuro wimuka shahitano wimuka shamukaga wimuka shahamwenda and then nanumuka sheshe nkaho chakutabura mu wagaruka wimuka wija wajankanye shweke okachiri nkwe mbone kugenda. So that kind of thing, so no itaga at least some good night sleep and like biyamba habintu ebi.